All right. Hey, everybody, this is Matt, and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for tuning in to our regularly scheduled Thursday live stream. You might notice something a little different tonight, and that is to my left, your right, is nothing, nobody. Chris is taking off yesterday and today to catch up with some family that's in town. So it's just your old Uncle Matt tonight, which I don't have a problem with. I hope that you guys don't have a problem with it. But if you have any questions, or if you have something you want me to read, or if you have something that you want to, make sure I know about, and that you want everybody else to know about too, I guess that falls into the category if you want me to read it. You're going to have to do something in the comment section so that I can see it. Because I'm not going to wear my glasses all night, and I'm not going to go like this all night. And I thought I would just kind of chat with you guys and hang out. I've got a bunch of stuff to tell you guys about, and a lot of it's really good stuff. And there's a bunch of stuff that is in the title of the video, and a bunch of stuff that's not. So anyway, let's just dive right in. So it is. I've got some notes here too. It is what is today? The 17th, 18th. I can't tell. The important thing is that I am past the halfway point of my video every single day for October 2024. And I'm showing no signs of slowing down. Let's take a super chat from Jay, who says, "Get this ampersand asterisk @ started." Thank you, Jay. Thank you for the super chat. Dastardly Dave sent me a super chat, and he says, "Ad free is for me. Brian made me do it. Amp is in the mail. Will be abused Monday." Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the amp class too. Guys, I hope that that everybody who came out to do the amp workshop had a good time. I know that there were some amps that were going to get shipped. Eric was going to ship them from his job at Henriksen Amplifiers, and I'm pretty sure they all went out on like Monday. Well, probably not Monday because that was a holiday, but Tuesday. I'm pretty sure they all went out. So, like I know Gary had his shipped. I think Federico has his shipped. Clearly, Dave had his shipped. And by the way, gang, all of our live streams are ad free. I know that Dave said that ad free is for me, and also that Brian made him do it. But yeah, all of our live streams, for one thing, they're always ad free because I hate ads, and I know that you guys watch this regardless of whether or not there's ads. But I hate having ads, and if you go back and watch it later, it's a bummer. And Michael Beckloff sent us a super chat and says ad free is for him. It's for me too. So Michael said that he's enjoying all the videos, and thank you guys for everybody who's sent me nice comments. I haven't gotten any comments held for review. If you know what I'm talking about, every so often, like if somebody puts something that's like really crappy, or curses at me or threatens my life, it's usually gets kicked down to like this YouTube held for review thing. And but I haven't gotten any of those this month, and I've been putting out a bunch of videos. Joey Dano says ad free Uncle Matt night. God bless you, Doug. I really appreciate it, my friend. I love it. I love having Uncle Matt night, and I love Uncle Matt stories. And there's going to be some more of those coming up because I like to record a bunch of them and then kind of kick them out. So maybe we'll do one of those this weekend along with some other good stuff that we're going to be doing too. So here's a fun thing. Yesterday's video was I called it a YouTube content creator call out kind of thing. And I called out Chris from Highline Guitars. And in the video, among other things, I said, Chris, I'd like for you to, let me know what you guys are, do at your shop that you've been doing since day one, and you still do it. And then I did a video about some of the stuff that I did like that. And Chris got back to me and said he's going to make that video. But I also said, Chris, if you would like to come to my shop, or if you'd like me to go to your shop and we'll do kind of like a collaboration video, that would be really fun. And I extended that invitation to him. And Chris sent me a thing. He's like, hey, let's get a hold of me. So I sent him my email address and my phone number. And he called me this afternoon, and we've started to plan some really cool stuff together. And I know that you guys are going to dig it. We come from different perspectives. Okay, I got to tell you guys something. I don't know a lot about Chris from Highline Guitars, but in the very brief conversation I had with him today, as it turns out, we have a lot more in common than even I thought. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's take a couple quick super chats. But the good part is this: Chris from Highline Guitars will be sitting right here 1 week from right this second. So ain't that cool? Dan Andretta sent some bucks from Canada and says ad free even in Canada. Gene B sent us a super chat and says, first super chat, trying to figure this out. Well, thank you so much, Gene. And YouTube let me know that let's celebrate your very first super chat on a live stream. Thank you very much. I am very honored that you chose to donate your very first super chat to me, and I'm glad that you're here. Mike Beckloff, you are my favorite nephew. You're not my favorite niece, though. I've got 3 nieces, and actually I do have a nephew. Whoops. So anyway, yeah. Let's see. Brian Duncan sent us a super chat, said he can't stay long, but we want to support TTG. God bless you, my friend. Brian, I need to talk with you about something, and I can't remember what it is. It probably isn't super important, but maybe I just want to hang out with you because I miss you. That's good too. Hey, Gary, did you ever talk with Jay about the stuff that I was supposed to send with you, and let me know if that worked? So anyway, Gary Redburn. Sorry. Anyway, so Chris from Highline Guitars will be sitting in the chair next to me next week. And I'm looking forward to that. And I think we are going to kind of open the floodgates of the creative internet world and get you guys to let us know what you'd like to see. When Chris called today, he's like, "Hey, let's do this collab thing." I'm like, "Cool. Do you have any ideas about what we could do?" And he's like, "Yes and no." So I'm in the same boat. But I'm looking forward to it. And Chris is a cool dude and makes neat guitars, and he does it in a way that's fairly different from the way that I do. So I'm looking forward to getting him on the program. Okay, let's see. So we covered that. How goes the video every day? Yeah. So the video every day is not. It's a deal. It's not a deal breaker, but it's a big thing, and it's a lot of work, and I really have no idea why I decided to do it. Yeah, I don't know what the payback is, but the original idea was that we wanted to really push to get a bunch of new subscribers, and I think that it's working. Gary Redburn sent us a super chat and says, "No, I forgot it there. You'll have to send it to me." Okay, Gary. So this notion of doing a video every day and attempting to gain subscribers and attempting to kind of get the word out is something that we really need to do. And I'm going to talk more about that as the video goes on. The economy is such that the more people we reach, the better off we are. And you know what? I mean, any economy is like that, right? If you if more people know about the stuff that you do, then it is that much more likely that you will sell stuff to those people. If you can't very well sell things to people who have no idea you exist, right? So anyway, that's kind of the whole point of this. And and Mike, it is a lot of work. Okay, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about was one of the things that I have been noticing is I only comment on videos that are less than 24 hours old, mostly because I can't spend all day doing like video commenting stuff. So I try to get on there and bang a lot of that stuff out. And I appreciate all of your comments. Now I read everybody's comment, even if it's on a video from like 2 years ago where I said, if you don't paint your guitar like this, you're stupid. I actually got a comment on that video today. It's funny. It's funny to me how videos that literally say in the description, warning, clickbait alert, trigger warning, etc. People still get all bent out of shape about that video. Yet 200,000 plus people have watched it, and so I don't know. I don't regret naming that video that, because like I said, if I just called it, we've talked about this before. If I just called that video, hey, Chris is going to show you how to paint a cool sunburst and you'll have a really great time watching it. It would get the same number of videos or the same number of views than they normally do. And that would be great. But as soon as you start to kind of like smack talk people, then for some reason, I don't know what the dynamic is, but for some reason or other, they go on and they at least comment. And it is my sincerest hope that people watch and even if they hate me, I hope that they go onto their forum that they go to, or their Facebook group or whatever thing, and go, man, that guy from Texas Toast is a bozo. I don't like him, and he hurt my feelings or whatever. I hope that if they do that, somebody there goes, well, I'm going to think for myself. I am going to go and see what all the fuss is about. Now, if you go and watch that video, it's a fairly benign video. It's just that the title is salacious. But there is one video that I do regret making. And it's a fairly recent one, actually. So you don't have to you don't have to go through your archive, your brain, and try to imagine what it is. I'm going to tell you what it is. But there is a video that I do kind of regret making, because ever since I did it, people think that all I do is that kind of thing. And they like, God, they think they're funny and they're not. So without further ado, the video that I regret making and I shall never make again is the video on this 2x4 SG. And the reason that I regret it is, like I said, ever since I made this video, everybody is like convinced that all I do is make guitars out of 2x4s. Never mind the 500 guitars I made out of Honduran mahogany and flame maple. In the last 5 years, they only, that's that, like the old joke, right? Drive a truck for 15 years. No one calls you a truck driver, but the rest. But yeah, so like today I was like, hey guys, I'm going to the lumber yard, and I need some wings for my neck through SG project. And somebody thought they were funny, and they're like, use 2x4s, LOL. Well, I didn't think that was LOL worthy. I thought it was just kind of dopey. So I'm not, yeah. So I regret making the 2x4 video. Some of you guys have been very kind and said, oh man, that guitar is really cool for a 2x4 guitar. And yeah, it is really cool for a 2x4 guitar. But remember, I have no intention of selling that. I have no intention of, I even said the entire time through the video, don't do this. This is dumb. I'm doing this so you don't have to. And I guess it just falls on deaf ears because some people think that like their mind works in such a way that they believe that all I do is make guitars out of 2x4s. So I do. I regret making that one. If you guys enjoyed it, that's cool. But I'm not going to do any more of that stuff. I'm not going to do any of those funny, kind of quirky guitar videos like that anymore. I think I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze, you know? So, um, and for all the people who, are LOLing around that I made a guitar out of 2x4s, remember, I made way more guitars than you did, and I can build a guitar and make it sound good out of 2x4s. You guys probably can't. So, anyway, so let's move on. Upcoming neck through videos. I've been having a lot of fun with I've been having a lot of fun with the neck through SG video, mostly because that was a project that was kind of on the back burner, and I'm like, let's make this kind of one of the priorities of the October everyday video every day. I also have a little bit of free time, and I also am mostly done with what I have to do. Everything is going to paint and assembly. I am getting caught up on a lot of orders that are in, and starting probably tomorrow, I will be kind of out of time to work on that neck through for a little bit. So I had a handful of days that I could do that. So I thought, let's do that. And there's going to be some upcoming videos on that. I made 2 shorts today. One was I'm going to the lumber yard, I'm not buying 2x4s. And I need some body wing material. Spoiler alert, I wound up going with black limba. Actually, it was fairly streaky white limba, so it was kind of gray limba, I guess. But I was able to use some of the streaks, and I think you guys are going to really dig it. I know I really dig it. And the takeaway here is that guitar isn't for anybody, it's just a guitar that is going to be neat. And I can't spend a whole lot. Some of you guys were like, oh man, make like a Babinga stripe and flame maple thing and all this other house, or, like rising sun pattern glue up and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, man, I don't have time to do that on this one, but I will make it contrasting and I will make it cool. And I like it. And I think you guys are going to like it too. Now, if somebody was like, hey man, I shut up and take my money, do all this crazy glue up and stuff, cool. I'd be happy to do that. But for a kind of a spec build instrument that nobody really ordered, I can't bend over backwards and spend, 100 hours doing glue up that I will probably never get reimbursed for. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's see what's going on in the comment section here. Gary says they're just jealous that they can't do it. Their lives must be sad. That's probably true, Gary. I don't know what the thing is, but what a way to live, man. Let's see. Seal Beach Mike says people taking stuff out of context. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if we're talking about exactly the same thing because I'm taking your comment out of context. But if you're talking about the SG guitar, yeah, I'm sorry, the 2x4 SG. Yeah, it's that is what happens, and people think what they want to think, and they obviously their attention span is not very long because they can't sit through all those videos and they don't hear the part where I'm like, don't do this. This is not a good idea. The other thing is patience is something, and discipline is something that is going away in the 21st century. So yeah, the discipline to sit through a video and to absorb the video and to get something out of it other than, Matt's a dork because he made a guitar out of 2x4s. That must be all he can do. Again, never mind all the other stuff that I've done in the last decade, or the last half decade here in this particular shop, or the last whole decade at since actually Texas Toast is older than 10 years. And again, I started doing this in 1989. I've been a guitar builder since I was 18. Yeah. So there's going to be some missteps, you know what I mean? But I thought you guys would find it fun, and maybe you guys did. Clearly, a lot of you guys did. But yeah, the people who are like 2x4, LOL, that's what they sound like. So anyway, let's Hey, Rob sent us a super chat and says, keeping it ad-free and having no regrets, trying to educate the closed-minded. I tell you what, Rob, this is your 20th super chat, and that's kind of the way it goes, man. I guess that's just the way it is. Zed says, so do I need to buy the bridge I want for my LP? No, Zed, you do not. I know you want a black Hipshot Baby Grand bridge. So provided it is in stock at Hipshot. Joy is here, and I'm hoping that the dogs did not destroy the house. SS says, Matt, they can't make a guitar out of anything. That's why they dare you to do it out of pine. Okay, so that's not exactly why I did it, because somebody, as you might recall, somebody asked, hey, should I do this? And I said, no, you shouldn't. And then I proceeded to do it. So you didn't have to. So anyway, Chris is here. He says, I've done. I think he might mean I'm done. So I think Chris might be back from family kind of vacation stuff. So maybe he'll be in tomorrow for a cool reveal. And by the way, there will be a cool reveal tomorrow. Let's see. Rusty said you should use walnut for your wings. Rusty, I don't know if you were here, but I already glued the wings on. They're already white limba with some black limba streaks, making it, I guess, gray limba. And it looks super cool. Limba was like $10 a board foot, and they had a piece that was almost exactly what I needed. Nothing more, nothing less, like almost the perfect amount. And in a video that I made that hasn't published yet, and you guys will see this weekend probably. I was like, I looked at like lace wood and leopard wood, and I wanted to get zebra wood, but they didn't have any. I looked at Paduke, I looked at bloodwood, I looked at Purple Heart, I looked at a bunch of heavy rosewood stuff, and the white limba with some streaks, probably it looked the best. It was the most affordable. It was the easiest to glue up. Sometimes when you use, like, somebody was like, hey, maybe Don was like, hey, why don't you try something with like, rosewood or like a cocobolo or something like that, which would have been neat. But sometimes gluing up those oily woods is tricky. And I didn't want to, mix up epoxy or anything like that. Walnut would have been cool, but I didn't see any walnut that was like, oh, wow, that's really amazing. I wanted something that would contrast the mahogany neck blank. And like I said, I think this gray limba, if you will, turned out really neat. And I think you guys are gonna dig it. I dig it. So, let's see. Sean says, I thought about building a 2x4 guitar for about half a minute. By the second video, I saw how bad the idea was. See, Sean gets it. Steve says the 2x4 is better than a Harley Benton, so they're butthurt and want to criticize. That may be, Steve, and I want to talk about the percentage of quality that an entry-level guitar has versus a premium instrument here later in the video. I even have some notes on it. Rusty asks a question. Do you know of any gloss finishes that are compatible with your 73 finish if someone ever felt like trying to do a gloss finish in the future on a TTG? Absolutely. The 73 finish is a urethane. You could spray gloss paint right over the top of it if you wanted, and you'd be fine. I don't know that I would do this, but you could probably shoot gloss lacquer over the top of it and buff it out. Buffing out the spraying the finish is not the big deal. It's the buffing the finish that's the big deal. We developed the 73 finish to mimic um, a guitar that is many decades old and has weathered but has not been beaten up badly, because we refuse to do relic guitars. However, the level of sheen that you get from the 73 finish is very reminiscent of an old guitar that maybe was stored under the bed and somebody forgot about, and presuming there wasn't a flood, and it just kind of you know wore down. But if you wanted to ever spray, Seal Beach Mike will tell you that if you want a gloss finish, we are happy to do it. It's just more money. Rob will tell you we are happy to do half a gloss finish, but it will just cost more money. So the 73 finish is a cool finish. It looks neat, and it does not require the same amount of prep work and buffing work that that a gloss finish does. However, if you want a gloss finish, you just let me know, and I will tack on a bunch of money, and we'll be happy to buff this thing out. So anyway, it also takes more time. Okay, so let's get back to my notes here. One of the things that I said in the video description is what guitar you should buy before the election. That's a little bit of a clickbait title too, I guess. Everybody's got you should stock up on canned foods or a bunch of toilet paper or whatever it is. But I thought, well, what about guitars that what guitars should you buy before the election? And the reason I bring this up is because people do this thing where they go, I'm going to wait until after the election. I'm going to wait until I get that raise, or I'm going to wait until I do this, that, or the other. I'm going to encourage you to, life is short. I'm going to encourage you to get the guitar that you want, get the gear that you want now while you can. And if you can get it on sale, that's terrific. It is very likely that we will have a sale coming up here in the future. We've got a bunch of instruments that are ready to go right now. We're going to reveal a bunch of those. A lot of these back behind me are going to be, we're going to talk more about those in the reveal tomorrow. And I'm trying to make it so easy that you can't not buy this stuff. One of the neatest things that we have on the website is the Affirm thing, and it's a way to finance it if you don't want to put it on your credit card. It's a way to finance the guitar or the workshop and pay for it over time. And it depends on your credit, and I think you can pay it off over like 6 years if you want. I don't know, but the Affirm is really cool, and it's a good deal. Here's the other thing, and then I want to take a super chat from Mike. Actually, let's go ahead and take that. He says that I heard Chris ain't never happy to do no buffing. Okay, you know what, Mike? You're right. Chris is not happy to buff ever, but I'm happy to build it into the invoice. Here's what normally happens when I say, Chris, like when you when we built your Billy Bow, or you requested that we build it. I'm like, hey man, Chris, Mike wants to do a Billy Bow, and he wants this, that, and the other, and he wants this finish. Oh, he wants it gloss finish too. And I said, how much more is it going to cost for you to feel good about doing that? And he told me, and I'm like, okay, now I want you to remember this conversation. You can't say, I don't want to do this and Chris hasn't, but we needed to make it worth our time to do, because it's a lot of extra time to wet sand and buff a guitar. So, and to do it right, we're getting to the do it right, and how much better a bespoke instrument is than one made in a factory somewhere. Okay, so where was I? I'm talking about what guitars to get before the election. I can also tell you that regardless of your perspective, your politics, your etc., money gets weird around an election, and people don't want to part with money for some reason around an election. That makes it particularly hard on small businesses like Texas Toast. So if you've always wanted one, what I'm getting at is now's a great time to buy one. Now's a great time to get one. Maybe we'll have a sale. Now's a great time to get one that is something that's in stock, ready to go. Now's the time to get one. You can help us out, and now's the time to get one. We try to make it easy. Like I said, we've got a firm. If you want to have a custom guitar built, one of our level ones, if you want to pay it off over time, no problem. We're more than happy to help you with that. Some guys do this where they're like, well, if it's going to take 60, 90, 120 days, whatever, to get my guitar, I kind of want to pay it off as I go. That's cool. I'm happy to do that. I'll send you an invoice. We'll get it started. And, we try to make it easy for you. And then that way, because sometimes this is a bummer when this happens too. Like, I know we're getting a big shipment of Dylan pickups. I got the email today that was like, it's on the way. And there's a bunch of guitars over here that are ready for pickups. And I don't know, Joel, if you're watching, your guitar is one of the pickups. Some other people, I can't remember your names, but your pickups are inbound. And so you might be like, well, gosh, I don't really want to pay for the whole thing until it's all the way done. That's cool. We can work with you on that too. Or if you want to buy something that's already finished, be happy to make you a good deal on it and make it easy for you to buy too. Okay. So, I do want to talk with you guys about, there is a very, very special project that I'm doing with a dealer that is an exclusive to that dealer. And I'm going to start by making 5 of them. And let me tell you, I have to dip into my own personal money to do it. And these are going to be really, really cool. They've got features and products on them that will not be available through anybody else except that dealer. And I think you guys are going to see that probably before the end of next month. That's all I can say, but big news coming up, and I think you guys are going to really dig it. There is a big difference between a nice buff job and burning through the paint. Uh-oh, looks like Chris has got some lies happening. Okay. So it has been something that I've been struggling with for a while, and I think I finally landed on why it is that Americans seem to be very good at opening presents and not particularly good at enjoying what they get. I fall into this too. This is not something that is going to come as a big, it's not like some big revelation that that I had, and you should listen to me because I'm so smart. But it is a thing, and you can tell, here's how you can tell in our little community that people are good at opening gifts and not particularly good at enjoying them. I see a lot of entry point guitars, and there is nothing wrong with an entry point guitar. There was a guy on here last week. Maybe he's here right now. I can't remember his name, but he said, I've got some, I can't remember what they were. They were entry point guitars. And he's been customizing them and making them cool and giving them soul. And he put Dylan pickups in them. And that's cool, man. I dig that. If you're a young person and your very first guitar is, an entry point guitar, that's probably where a lot of us started out. And I think that's neat. And I like to see that people are enjoying playing the guitar. They're good at enjoying the present that they got, whether it was a gift that they received or it was a gift that they got themselves. Um, the problem is that some people are so good at opening presents and so bad at enjoying presents, and they enjoy this. This is Chris's words here. They enjoy buying guitars way more than they enjoy playing guitars and getting good at guitar, or having a cool collection of guitars. That they have a collection of this entry point guitars. Now, this is not like, I've got a bunch of entry point guitars and I'm fixing them up. You only have to do that a handful of times to go, it was way more expensive to do this than it was uh, to just buy the neat thing. Although it's sometimes easier to stretch it out over time. And when you're done with it, you might not get what you want. Um, so for the sake of conversation, I know. How about this? We used Squire as an example all week last week. So let's I want to say pick on. Let's use Epiphone as an example for this week. You cannot turn an Epiphone Les Paul into a Gibson Les Paul. It'll look very similar, but you cannot turn one into the other. You can spend a bunch of money trying to do it, but you cannot do it. I had a guy. He stripped off all the finish on his Epiphone and wanted me to spray it with lacquer, and I'm like, sorry, I don't do any lacquer. But something else happened. We were able to help him with it, but I'm like, gosh, you would have been way better off to just buy the Gibson. He replaced all the parts and bits and stuff and added things and this, that, and the others, and it was neat when he was done, but I don't know that he saved any money doing that. In fact, I would be willing to bet you that he didn't save any money doing that. So entry point guitars are certainly fine, and for some people they're really cool. Unless you have a bunch of them. If you have a bunch of entry point guitars just because you like having a bunch of guitars, I think you would be better suited with having something that's really excellent than having a bunch of things that are marginal, or having something that is 100% built by someone who cares versus built by someone who cares 80% of the time or 50% of the time. Let's talk about that for a second. Whatever you do at your job, if your job depends on your performance, and a lot of people's jobs do, a lot of people's jobs don't. If your job depends on your performance, your output, your ability to do something well, if you're a craftsman, then you care about what you do. You cannot teach people to care for slave wages in Indonesia. How about this? The person who truly loves what they do is going to do things with an enthusiasm that the person with a gun in his back isn't going to do. I'm not suggesting that there isn't gusto by the person, who is operating in slave wage conditions. And I realize that I'm exaggerating here a little bit too. But the point I'm trying to make is somebody in a factory somewhere probably cares 80% of the amount that a true craftsman cares. Okay. Now, what does that, how can we agree that there is a certain percentage of as cool the entry point guitar is to the high dollar instrument? The comment section is like Mad Max. It's blowing up. I can't keep track of it and keep track of my thoughts here. But the notion of if you're, I don't know, your American Standard Strat or your, I don't know what the Gibson equivalent of that is. The Les Paul Studio is 80% of what a Les Paul standard is, or a Les Paul custom, or an American standard Telly is 80% of the way there to a custom shop Fender, something like that. That's pretty good. To get 80% there is pretty good from a workforce that really doesn't want to be there on Monday, kind of dreads going to work, in the morning, can't wait to get done. But I submit to you that you'll notice a 20% difference. Okay. If your car has 20% more horsepower, you'll notice the difference. Now, I'm not a car guy, so I don't really know what that means. But let me put this into a way that most of the gentlemen here will understand. If your ding dong is 20% longer, girthier, etc., is there someone who will notice the difference? So anyway, so to some people, 80% of the way there is just as good. But I tell you what, gang, the extra, that last 20%, that's the real deal right there. That's the hardest thing to get. And I know somebody is going to try to twist my 80-20 thing back on me. Just remember, I did it first. You did it worst. So when you go into the comment section and tell me my Epiphone, my this, that, or the other is way more than 80%. And if I blah, 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 there's no real way to do this, but I guarantee you that if we could find someone who was feeling particularly generous and walked up to anybody at Guitar Center and said, I will buy you that Epiphone Les Paul or this custom shop Les Paul, which would you like? And someone's going to go, I'd buy the custom shop one and sell it and then get the Epiphone thing. Well, again, you're really good at opening presents. You're not very good at enjoying them if you say stuff like that. So you could say, I am going to give you $799 or $7,000. Which would you rather have? You'd be a fool not to take the large amount of money. And guitars are kind of that same way. You just don't think of it like that because people think like, oh man, I can't afford it. Oh man, the election's coming up. Oh man, Christmas is right around the corner. Oh man, I'm going to make up a whole bunch of excuses to not get the thing I want. And I'm going to settle for the thing that's 20% less. And maybe no one will notice. But somebody will notice. Okay. And that somebody's going to be you. Unless we go back to the whole ding dong thing and then, somebody else. Well, anyway, would you rather have a 20% bigger ding dong or 20% smaller hands? Ooh, okay. All right. So anyway, gang, what else do I have on the list of stuff to talk about here? I think that's it. Let's go back to the comment section and see who I have offended here. Solaris Moon says, I'd rather have all Texas Toast guitars than a bunch of garbage guitars that never fail to disappoint. Well, that is a very lovely and kind thing to say, my friend. I want you to know something. I do truly love what I do. I do truly love building instruments, and I don't know that it's a calling, but it is something that I have done and then stopped doing and then done again and stopped doing and then come back to. And I am blessed to be able to come into work. I literally love coming to work every day. I love going home at night. And I love sleeping in and I love, lots of things, but my life is really good. And it's thanks to people like you watching, you who are buying guitars, buying workshops, coming out here and experiencing what we do and becoming part of it and being in the club and being in the this really fun community and this really fun culture, and you just don't get it if kind of if you go to Walmart and buy a surfboard. It's not the same as if you went to the Zephyr shop back in the 70s and got something that was made by people who were it was their life's ambition to do something good. You know what I mean? To make a difference. And I think that that's what it really boils down to. Making a difference is that's something that I strive to do all the time. I strive to make something cool. I strive to not just make another strat or another tally. I realize I make SGs and I make these PRS looking things like these two guys here. You got to remember that a lot of that stuff is for prototyping for workshops and things like that. But guys, my Challenger instrument, my Challenger guitar level 1, 2, 3, and 4, my American Icon guitars, I love all of those guitars. I think that they are really, really cool. It looks like Seal Beach Mike said something. I hope it's about surfing. Yes, that's true. Costco foam surfboards have no soul. God bless you, Mike. Thank you. Curtis Chavez says, is TTG considering making a standard P-bass style? I think that I want to make a bass, but I don't think that I love P basses. I really do. But Fender makes so many of them. What is going to set me apart from making a P bass that is basically a P? I kind of want to do my own thing, and I kind of don't want to. Bass players are not as traditional as guitar players are, generally speaking. And so I think that I could push the envelope a little bit with a bass. Though I don't know, I haven't really given it a whole lot of thought. One thing that we could do is we could offer, here's this spitballing here, offering a bass that is reminiscent of the P bass with a feature set that you cannot get from Fender. Maybe something like that. I don't know. I really need to develop a bass, but I don't know why I haven't done it yet. I think that there's going to be an Icon bass coming up very soon. Who was it that I was talking to that said they needed? Oh, my good buddy Mac said that he wants an Icon bass, and that would be a cool one to do. So, Challenger bass. Probably not. The reason is because hold on, I have to grab a Challenger. Hold on, I got to just move out of the way to reach one here. So a Challenger bass would be tricky because Van Shank says make an Icon style bass. We absolutely are going to do that, and I think that'll be cool. See you, Mike. Have a great night, my friend. So a Challenger bass would be tricky. God, this thing's bitching. A Challenger bass would be cool because it would be cool. It would be uncool because you would have I suppose you could do a non-carved one, but the bridge would have to be fairly far back, and you could make a 30-inch or 32-inch scale bass. The neck would be way out here. The real problem is that the knot upper horn here, the knot cutaway part, is pretty short. And for a bass, it would need to come out to about here to balance effectively. Now, I have been playing bass for a long time, and I had an SG bass for a while that was really cool. And it was no bigger than a regular SG. And because it was a 30-inch scale and because the bridge was set way to the back, you didn't really notice. It was a little bit like playing the guitar. I bought a Les Paul bass and I loved it so much until I played it, and it would sag and my arm would grind on the edge of the binding. And so Yeah, I think that get a load of the pinstripes on this. So I think that the Les Paul bass is super cool looking, and if you're Eddie Spaghetti, it's cool. But if you're Matt, God, I wanted to dig it, and I did dig it. I just didn't like playing it. So I think that the reason that we haven't made a Challenger bass yet is because of my bad experience with the Les Paul bass that I had. And by the way, the Gibson Les Paul bass that I had anyway was exactly the same body as a Gibson Les Paul guitar. Now I know they make one that's a little bit bigger to try to kind of compensate for that. I don't know how well they've gone over, but yeah. Yeah, the pinstripe with the gold top is super classy. This actually has reveal binding too, so it's a gold top, but it's got reveal maple binding. This thing is really, really excellent, and the pinstriping pretty much make this super cool. So, yeah, I've seen some guys do some stuff with moving the strap button. One thing that I thought was fairly ingenious, I saw one time, is that on a Thunderbird bass, somebody made they took a piece of stainless steel tubing and extended it out here, and then just screwed the strap button through the tubing so it was out here like that, and that seemed to work. But I don't think I could. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze for the Challenger. I'm sorry to use that metaphor twice in one day, but I don't think that the Challenger is a bass. Maybe it is, but I don't think so. Maybe what I have to do is just build one sometime and see. But I don't have any orders for a Challenger bass. And guys, if you want a Challenger bass, I'd be happy to make one for you. How about that? I would recommend 30-inch scale or 32-inch scale. I think that would be good. Some of the things are going to be different. The width of the fretboard at the body joint end is going to be quite a bit. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be quite a bit wider. But if it was, it would alter the area of the cutaway and things like that. Gosh, one of my favorite basses was my Dan Armstrong bass. I'll have to look and see what that is. Maybe I could incorporate some cool features from that. That might be a neat thing to do. Okay, maybe we'll do a Challenger bass. I don't know, but yeah, maybe a Challenger bass would be cool with some cool appointments that you don't necessarily get from anybody else. Okay. Let's see what else is going on in the comment section. Make the body a little bit bigger with the same shape. Imagine Leo Fender made the Stratocaster a little smaller, but the same shape. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be cool. We could try it. As soon as you start to kind of expand stuff, though, like I say, things get different. So I think what I would need to do is build the neck first, and then decide how much bigger I needed to / could make the body. You guys want it to be carved top or flat top? Let me know. One thing that I won't do with a Challenger ever again is put a 1/2-inch roundover on it or a 7/16 roundover on it. We did that once, and it got very bean-like, and it got real round in some areas that looked kind of weird, and I didn't like it. So I won't do something like that on a Challenger again. But anyway, that would be cool. So anyway, gang, I hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me tonight. Dan says, I suggest you do a full-size drawing. Dan, that is a terrific idea. Whoever you got that idea from, or maybe you just came up with it yourself, you're a very smart person if you came up with that yourself. Plan your work and work your plan, right? So anyway, did I already tell you guys about what's coming up in the future? If you're just joining us, or you joined us in the second half hour of my hour-long program here, Chris sounds like he will be back tomorrow. Chris from Highline Guitars will be here next week, sitting in this chair, and we're going to do a cool live stream then. Um, I don't know what's going to come of that, but I think a lot of good stuff will. There are going to be more mahogany neck through with gray Limba wing SG videos coming very soon, coming this weekend. And Chris sent me a bunch of question marks and said, yes, I'll be back. See, Chris, I can see that. See, that's how it works, you guys. Seal Beach Mike says, can't wait for Chris Monk from TTG. I think that'll be fun too, man. Yeah, I get it. We can readjust the neck and body and stuff, but yeah, like I said, I sometimes like figuring out scaling the body in and out and all over the place to fit the neck is a good idea if you know how wide the neck is at the last fret. How many frets do you want to use? What scale do you want to use? I get it. You can draw the stuff bigger and smaller, and you can scale it out, and you can do all sorts of stuff. But really, I need to know how many frets I want, where I want the neck to join the body, where I want the is the bridge going to fall off the end? Is the cutaway going to work with the the base, the end of the fretboard on the base? Is it going to be 2 5/8? Is it going to be 2 1/4? What is that, all that stuff going to be? And so I get it. You can scale the body in and out, but sometimes you kind of got to figure out some of this other stuff first too. So, and scaling the body out almost exactly perfectly sometimes doesn't work in my head like I think it's going to. Dylan Talks Tone says, how many frets? 5. Duh. Thank you, Dylan. You got it. Dylan knows what's up. So anyway, guys, I am fast running out of time, which is good because I get to go home and hang out. And 12 fret for me, Pete, is about 5 frets too many. But I urge you guys to go over and check out Dylan Talks Tone at his. You got to. It would be really cool if we were like on the same channel. Like remember like back in the old days, you'd watch the A Team and then whatever came on after the A Team, or you'd watch Dukes of Hazzard and whatever was on after that. But it's kind of like that, only you got to switch channels. You got to like actively go into your thing and click in Dylan Talks Tone. And Dylan and his lovely wife, Leslie, are going to be hanging out with you guys for at least another hour. I think they hang out for 2 full hours, talking about guitar stuff. And then in the second hour, they talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, more guitar stuff. I think knives and custom pens and I don't know, cologne, shit like that, laser things. I don't know. But it's always fun and it's always cool. And there's always a lot of people hanging out over there. So guys, I urge you to go check that out. I'm going to go and get some dinner, and I urge you to do the same while you're hanging out with Dylan and Leslie. I will be back tomorrow for a cool reveal video, and there's going to be lots and lots and lots of good stuff to show you guys. Whoa, looks like they're moving in next door. So we will see you guys then. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.